Hello everyone. Welcome back to the David Show, where we dive into the big and small issues of society with a bit of fun and a lot of insight. I'm David, your host, and today, we've got a very special guest. Please give a warm welcome to Daisy. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So, how's life in Ho Chi Minh City? I hear it's such a vibrant and busy place. How's work going at your fashion store?
Oh, it's great, thank you. The city is always alive, with so much energy. Work is going well too. Running a fashion store keeps me busy, but it's rewarding to see customers love what we create. How about you, David? How's hosting the David Show going?
Oh, it's been amazing. Sometimes it's a bit crazy keeping up with everything, but talking to guests like you makes it all worth it. By the way, Daisy, before we jump into today's topic, I've got to ask, how do you juggle running a business and learning new skills, like English?
That's a good question. Honestly, it's not easy, but I try to make time for it every day. Like, even 30 minutes before bed can make a difference. What about you, David? How did you improve your English?
Well, English is my first language, so I guess I don't think about it much. But if I were learning another language, I think I'd struggle to stay consistent. That's actually a great segue into today's topic, how to self-learn English in today's world. So, Daisy, as someone who's been through it, where would you say is the best place to start?
I think the most important thing is to start small. Like, set realistic goals. For me, I started by just listening to English songs and trying to understand the lyrics. It was fun, and it didn't feel like studying. How about you? Do you think music is a good way to learn?
Oh, absolutely. Music is fantastic. I mean, it helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and even slang. But I've got to say, it's not enough on its own. What about speaking practice? How did you get over the fear of, making mistakes?
That's tough, honestly. At first, I was really shy, but I realized everyone makes mistakes, right? I started by talking to myself in English, like describing what I was doing. I'm cooking now. I'm choosing a dress for work. That kind of thing. It sounds silly, but it worked. Have you ever tried learning another language, David? Did you feel awkward talking to yourself?
Oh yeah, I once tried learning Spanish. Let me tell you, I felt ridiculous. But, I think it's one of those things you just have to push through. Speaking of which, what about tools? Are there any apps or resources you swear by?
Yes, definitely. I love using apps like Duolingo and YouTube for quick lessons. Also, I follow English podcasts. Actually, The David Show could be a great resource for learners. You speak clearly and cover interesting topics.
Thank you, Daisy. I'm flattered. Podcasts are great, though, especially for improving listening skills. Do you ever use subtitles when watching shows or listening to podcasts?
Oh yes. Subtitles are my best friend. At first, I used Vietnamese subtitles, but now I try to stick with English ones. It helps me connect the sounds to the words. What about you, David? Do you think learners should start with subtitles or go without?
I think it depends. If you're a beginner, subtitles in your native language can be helpful. But, once you get comfortable, switching to English subtitles is better. And eventually, no subtitles at all. It's like building a muscle, you have to keep challenging yourself.
Exactly. And another thing I found helpful is finding a partner to practice with. Like, even just chatting on video calls can improve confidence. Do you ever hear from your listeners about how they practice English?
Oh, all the time. Many of them say they use social media, like joining English-speaking groups or commenting on posts. It's a great way to practice writing too. But I've noticed some people worry about getting judged online. What do you think, Daisy? How do you handle criticism?
I think you just have to remind yourself that learning is a process. Most people are kind, and even if someone corrects you, it's to help, right? I always say, if I don't try, I'll never improve. How about you, David? Do you think criticism can be helpful?
Definitely. I mean, as a host, I get feedback all the time, some good, some not so good. but I take it as a chance to grow. One last question before we wrap up. What advice would you give someone who's just starting their English learning journey?
I'd say, don't be afraid to make mistakes and don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Just enjoy the process. And, try to make it fun. Like, watch movies, sing along to songs, or even listen to podcasts like this one.
Great advice. Well, Daisy, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for sharing your tips and experiences.
Thank you, David. It's been fun. I hope our chat inspires someone out there to start learning English.
I'm sure it will. Alright, everyone, that's a wrap for today's episode of The David Show. Remember, learning English or any language takes time and effort, but it's so worth it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.